Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the debut episode of the Everyman Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Daryl Campbell, former NFL player turned producer extraordinaire. How you doing today, my brother?
Man, I'm doing good, Brother Jay. How you doing?
Man, I'm just excited to get going. I'm excited to unleash this into the world. We got a great interview today with Mr. John Petrucci, guitar legend of Dream Theater fame. They've got a new record coming out today on Inside Out Music. It's called Distance Over Time. And we had a great conversation. We talked about everything from the process of recording this new album to life on the road to historic records that they've put together. And also we share a sponsor with Ernie Ball Music, man, who proudly sponsors this podcast. I'll have you know, Mr. Campbell.
Hey, I like it.
One episode in and we already got a sponsor. How about that?
That's how you do it.
That's right.
Everyman.
So what are we going to be doing here on the Everyman Podcast, Mr. Daryl?
You know what we're going to be doing? We're going to be talking about different topics, different things, whatever it is that's out there going on in the public that the everyman would talk about. Everyman would talk about. That's what we're going to debut on this podcast. Let's get this thing started.
Let's do it. Let's see what Mr. Petrucci has to say. Today we are here with the living legend and certified guitar god, John Petrucci of Dream Theater. Over his 30-year career, John has cemented his place as one of the greatest guitarists of all time and has been featured on the cover of nearly every guitar magazine that has ever been published from every corner of the world. Known for lightning-fast shredding and soaring leads, John has become one of the most influential guitarists in the game, all while inspiring a new generation of musicians to push the limits of what's possible with a guitar. Joining us live on Skype, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Petrucci. John, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Justin? I don't know. I'm all like blushing from that intro. That was awesome.
Well, hey, man, you're the king, so you know.
I don't know if I can live up to
Well,
that.
we'll find out. So we're here today to talk about a number of things. Obviously, Distance Over Time is out February 22nd on Inside Out Music, and it's going to be available anywhere that you can get your music: Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all that. So obviously, new Dream Theater record is always it's like counting down to Christmas for me. And and it's been a bit since we've had some new stuff out. So the singles that I've heard so far, I love them, and I've expressed that. And from what I see online, people are pretty happy about it as well. So what are you most excited about to get the new album out in front of people?
Well, first of all, we always have so much fun when we make new music. It's like an opportunity. You said it's like Christmas for you. It's like Christmas for us getting together. And,
Yeah.
Especially the way that we did this one. We kind of decided to do like a guys retreat.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So So you're up in New York. I saw you were doing some serious grilling up there.
That's right.
What made you feel like that was the right time to kind of go on location?
Well, a couple of things. The after we did the Astonishing and the way that we did that, where Jordan and I wrote the record based off of a story that I wrote. It was something that was very different for us, because normally we do things in a very collective way. So it was kind of like, next record, let's do something where we're all sort of together, immersed in almost like an opposite of that environment, where it's more of just like a live rehearsal kind of thing, which is the way that we wrote Train of Thought, the way that we wrote Awake and records like that. And
right.
I was talking to my wife, Raina, and she's like, well, you guys should go away, just like instead of just going to a studio. She's like, go to some cool place. Our wives always have the greatest ideas, right?
They do, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I was like, that sounds like a great idea. So we found literally the perfect place to do it in, which was upstate in New York, in this renovated barn that was gorgeous, no distractions.
Other than the grill.
Other than the grill, and every time we wanted to eat, we were distracted. But other than the grill and wildlife coming up to the barn, we were good.
Yeah, I heard there was quite a few bear sightings up there.
Well, it's like now it's turning into a tall tale because there was like one bear sighting.
Right. Yeah. Next thing you know, John
Yeah.
Petrucci wrestles a 14-foot,
Right.
black bear.
Well, I always said it was funny that the barn was originally owned by and built by by Ryuichi Sakamoto, who scored The Revenant.
Really?
You got that famous bear scene.
Yeah. That's all you're thinking about. Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
what I was thinking about. We don't want to like recreate,
Yeah. Oh
But-
man. I certainly wouldn't want that either. So I did a lot of research into seeing what people were talking about, and what the fans are thinking, and I think obviously you got a lot of these questions before, so I'm not going to go over all of it, but
yeah.
to me the sound of the new record is a much bigger, and the drum sound as a drummer, I love it. And
Oh, good.
I don't know I'd love to know what you guys did differently this time, because there's
Sure.
definitely something different going on there.
Sure. Well, part of it is where we recorded. Sorry if you're hearing noises.
Nope, no problem.
So the barn that I'm talking about just had this amazing main room that had really, really high ceilings. It was all wood. All the original barn wood was sort of finished and used to decorate the inside. So the room itself sounded amazing. So
Yeah.
we knew, originally we weren't going to record there. We were just writing the record there. But after being there for about a month, we're like, let's just stay here. Bring in some microphones, because it was kind of like an emptied out studio. Picture a studio that was built, but then the guy sold it and took everything out. So all right, let's bring in a desk, bring in speakers, bring in, mics and pre's and record here. So part of that drum sound is the beautiful room.
Wow.
The other thing is sort of the approach, as far as the way that it was engineered, and the way I wanted to produce it was to make this sort of more organic sounding record.
Right.
I've said this a couple of times, but it's kind of like, what does Dream Theater sound like when we're all playing together full tilt?
Mhm.
Just to put some mics up, what does the band sound like? I wanted this record to sound the most like that. So part of the drum sound is that approach, is being conscious of keeping everything really natural and organic. And then the third part is our amazing mixing engineer, Ben Gross, and how he treated the drums to make sure he sort of retained that organic quality, but also, made the record kind of really powerful and driving. So, it's a combination of all those great professionals that just know what they're doing, and the idea of as a producer, kind of letting people know the type of record I want to do, the type of sound that we're going for.
Right.
In other words, if we went for we want this to sound like completely retro 70s, it would have went into a whole direction. If I said we want this to sound super hyped, modern, all samples, it would have went in another direction. But the idea of doing this more kind of primal, organic, natural, capture the sound of the room sounding record, that got everybody on the same page. So I think that's what you're hearing.
Yeah, and I understand you used a room mic too, which is not something you normally do, right?
Well, on the guitar, yes, I'm very kind of anti-room mic. I like a very closed mic. I want it to sound like, I stuck your head inside of my guitar cabinet.
Well, I actually did that once. I don't know if you
did that once.
So
Okay.
so I got a funny story on that. So the first time I met you
Yeah.
at the show at the Merriam Theater,
Uh-huh.
on the side of the stage,
Yeah.
I saw your cabs, your
Yeah.
ISO cabs. So I literally went over to it and put my ear up to it, and I got to hear the full wrath of the John Petrucci live rig, and
That is funny.
in full person. So it's powerful, and I know you talked about wanting to, bringing all your live rig in there and wanting to have
Right.
that feel,
Right.
So I picked it up, so that's really exciting. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on there is my partner, Darryl Campbell,
Yeah.
former NFL player. He couldn't be here today, unfortunately, for this interview. But one of the
Yeah.
things we talk about a lot is, that it takes a team, and having great engineers, and,
Yes.
it's great gear, great equipment, great guitars. all that comes together to put this all into one great package. So we're coming up on it's the 20th anniversary of Scenes from a Memory.
That's right. Let me just say before you get into that, I'm glad you survived after putting your head.
Yeah, I know. It was.
That could have been bad.
I've got to. Yeah, I'm. It's. I mean, I figured, especially at the time, I was like, why not? I mean, I might not get this opportunity again, so let's just see how it's.
That's so funny. That's awesome.
It was raw.
And you're 100% right about the team. There's no way that we could have done this record if not for the hard work of Maddie and Jimmy T and our mix engineer and everybody involved in doing this. It is. And, it's an amazing thing to be a part of something that's where everybody has a real passion for what they do and an invested interest in the band and the music that we all want to create. So it's great. It really is like nothing else.
Yeah, and I can attest to getting to spend some time around your team.
Yeah,
and you guys have a great crew, and everybody is passionate and believes.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
What doing. So that makes it all. It shows through in the music, and I think being a student of Dream Theater like I am, looking, kind of a 40,000 foot view of how the band has progressed in the last 10 years or so. I feel like you guys you're getting into a new, like this is like the new Dream Theater in a sense.
Right.
That I feel like it was coming out in some pieces in the last couple albums, but what I've heard so far, that's just my take on that. Cool. So I wanted to talk about Scenes from a Memory.
Sure.
So now historically the legend about this record, has grown over the years. So the story that's kind of out there is that when you guys went into the studio to make Scenes from a Memory, you guys were following up an album that at the time was not considered, wasn't really a fan favorite at the time, and you guys were trying some new things. I'm talking about Falling Into Infinity.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it took me a couple years to appreciate that album.
Yeah.
And now I find myself going back to it, and
oh, cool.
So I think, but that's a whole different topic. But I think looking at the albums that came after Scenes from Memory, it's clear how much of an impact that process had on the future of the band. So like you're talking about 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, Train of Thought, Octavarium, and of course Black Clouds and Silver Linings. So when you were doing Scenes from Memory, did it feel like you were shifting as you were writing the album, or were you guys not even thinking about that? You just wanted to put out, you just wanted to swing for the fences?
Well, there were definitely some changes that we made that were very purposeful, that were kind of as a reaction to a few different things. One of them is just, years prior to Scenes, Mike and I had done 2 records with Jordan with Liquid Tension Experiment, and we really had these like amazing writing sessions and this great chemistry with him. And we were kind of writing some of the best music, that we've written, we thought, but yet he wasn't in our band, he wasn't in the main band. So the pivot to ask Jordan to join was a big step, because we kind of knew that we were completing this sort of circle of like what we felt like was the ultimate sort of writing collaboration,
Right.
And so that was one of them, and that was a hard thing to do, because we had to ask, Derek to leave. It wasn't, that's not easy stuff. It's not easy for him. It's not easy for us, and it's a big change to do a band member change like that. So that was purposeful, and a decision that we made. Another one was that this was the first record we decided to self-produce. Mm-hmm. So up until then, all the records had outside producers. Falling Into Infinity had Kevin Shirley, of course. And so this idea of, listen, we just kind of want to do our own thing and close ourselves in a room and not really have anybody else, influencing what we do or telling us we can't do that or this or that. That was an important step. And that was a big step. And I remember having the conversation with Mike at the time, like, hey, let's do this. We can do it. Like, we can handle this.
Right.
We don't need somebody sitting there telling us, this and that. We just need an engineer, So that was another big step. And then the third part was, and this took the band kind of gaining confidence in ourselves, because we're all such big fans of music and bands, and records like The Wall and Tommy and Operation Minecraft. I mean, these are iconic in our minds. So it's like, to make a decision as a band to create our own concept record was like, can we do this? Can we do it on the level that we really want to? And that was a big undertaking. That's why we didn't do it, sooner than that, is because we wanted to make sure that we did it right. We were able to do it and the timing was right. So all these things sort of added up, and they were all purposeful decisions. So it wasn't just like we walked in one day, hey, what do you guys want to do?
Yeah.
These were discussions. Some of them came out of, years of sort of leaning in that direction. And so major changes were made for that record, for sure.
So I kind of see some parallels with that in preparing to put out Distance Over Time. How do you think that your experience with Scenes from a Memory, it kind of, whether it was truly or not, I mean, the fan perspective is that it was like a make or break moment for you guys, as a, in a career sense.
Right.
Do you think that there's a parallel there? Not that, I mean, you're not with your career, but as far as musical direction and the similarities between bringing Mike Mangini in, and I noticed he's got some credits for some lyrics now, so he's more a part of, I assume, the writing process. And
Absolutely.
I know some of the other albums, like you said, Astonishing, it was you and Jordan,
right?
And so like this seemed like the combination of, like I said, the band weekend, having all the guys together.
Yeah.
A new direction. Do you feel like that at all for this?
Yeah, there can be some parallels. I mean, I guess the difference is, with all the stuff that I just told you about Scenes, the other thing at that time, there was some sort of behind the scenes sort of business stuff that was going on that wasn't really great,
Right.
So there were some legal things and some weird stuff. So it's sort of like we were in a different place. It was about 10 years into our career. And so we had to make some decisions that they were sort of make or break. You're right. The place that the band is in now and going into this record is kind of like a much, when I look back, if I were to compare, it's sort of a much healthier place where, there's a very established sort of system that we have, and we have all the right people in place, that are behind the scenes. Everything is very stable, and I can't explain it, but just in this really, really good place. So sort of going into the record, it's kind of, it was more of like a joy, like not like this is make or break, but hey, let's do something fun,
Yeah, I mean, I watched, all the behind the scenes stuff, and you guys really seem to be enjoying it, exactly. Truly happy, which is fun. That's fun.
So it's more like that, people might say, they might make the comparison because the Astonishing wasn't received by everybody, the same way. A lot of people didn't like it. Some people liked it, some people didn't, which I knew would happen.
But progressive, I mean, these kind of progressive metal fans or progressive rock fans have always been like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that way too. I'm that way with my favorite bands. It's like you like certain things, you don't like other things. But as an artist, you have to like follow your creative, wherever that creative
that path leads you.
Yeah, and so you can say the idea of like sort of rebonding as guys and doing this kind of retreat thing is sort of a reaction to that. I mean, yes and no, but if you want to be real, probably you can say that, but less in a, like, it's almost like the Scenes sort of reaction is almost like a damage control type of thing. Like, oh, we got to get this together. There's too many weird things going on.
Right.
Whereas,
bring everybody
yeah,
back on the same page.
yeah, exactly. But with
Yeah.
Distance Over Time is kind of like, I miss you guys. Let's hang out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the vibe I get from it.
Yeah, it's
It's
coming from like a healthier, more stable place, if
yeah.
that makes any sense.
No, I'm definitely I'm picking that up.
Cool.
So obviously, so Ernie Ball, Extractus Media, my business. Production company that puts these podcasts and the music we do for the NFL together. We're also sponsored by Ernie Ball, and
That's amazing.
Yeah, we also have we've got some custom Petrucci's. We got two of them now, and
Cool.
they're incredible instruments, and we've been using them on everything from stuff for pro wrestlers to the Mayo Clinic to
Right.
NFL stuff, and then post-hardcore stuff. I mean, these guitars are. You can't understand how truly universal they are until you start a production company and you need to do stuff from, country to death metal to, I mean, pop punk. Like, we could do it all with these guitars.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So talk to us a little bit about what's new for the 2019 model that you just put out at NAMM.
Sure. Well, first of all, congratulations on everything that you're doing and your success with that. I love hearing that. Known you for a long time now, so that's awesome to hear. I'm really, really, really happy to hear all that. You speaking about the guitars that way and the versatility, I think really speaks to the Ernie Ball Music Man family and company, and to the design of the instruments. And it's something that I think has contributed to the massive success of the guitars.
Yeah.
Is that it's not, pigeonholed to just like you have to play prog metal on it or else that's it.
Right.
But you see people from,
you see country. I saw somebody on the CMT Awards playing.
Exactly. You see Clay Cook, from Clay Cook from Zach Brown playing one, or John Fogerty, or all these different guys that don't play the style, but it just kind of speaks to the quality and the design of the instrument. And the thing is that it always comes back to is that it just feels so great to play. It's so friendly. It really does. It sounds amazing. But for 2019, basically we took the Majesty to another level as far as just the aesthetics of the guitar. Some of the new colors are just ridiculous. They're unbelievable. We did 2 different basswood versions, 4 different mahogany versions, and then for the first time an alder version, which we call Tiger Eye, which has instead of the maple top being only on the shield, it's a full maple top with the maple strip down the neck, maple in the headstock, and just gorgeous. I mean, each guitar is a work of art. And then we also tweaked the DiMarzio pickups a bit just to kind of even bring out more of the amazing tone woods, and what they have to offer as far as like resonance and sustain and volume and stuff like that. And it's kind of like it really all makes sense and ties into this whole new record because, again, going into that amazing room in that barn. We started this conversation about the drum sounds and room mics and stuff like that. And just like, trying to capture the living, breathing qualities of wood and how those interact. It goes right along with what we did with the guitars and the pickups, because they're just beautiful instruments created out of wood and amplified and magnified with electronics. And that's exactly what we're doing with the record, what we're doing with the guitars. And it's, I don't know, I couldn't be happier. I mean,
I really feel like the guitar is really turning into like kind of my generation's Les Paul in a way where it's become iconic and, like I said, universal, and that it's become a shape and an image, like a silhouette that everybody recognizes. I find that really interesting.
That's really cool. It's something that Sterling Ball has kind of said about these guitars. That there was an interesting article in Forbes not too long ago that said that my signature guitar is the second top selling signature model only behind a Les Paul. So
wow.
There's something there, and I'm not.
That's wow.
But yeah, there's something there where there's a universal appeal, and again, it really, you talk about a team. If it weren't for Sterling, and if it weren't for Drew Montel, who designed that guitar, I mean, it wouldn't exist. So everything, working together and giving people their credit and due, I think, is really important.
Well, and there's something for everyone too. If you want to, Floyd Rose, you can get one of those. If you want a floating bridge, you can. Right. It's something for everybody, for the discerning fan. So speaking of the fans, I've got a few questions here, and then I'll let you go. That are from the fans directly. So I went out to the Dream Theater Reddit, incognito, and I said, "What do you guys want to know?"
You farmed some questions.
I did. I thought it would be appropriate.
All right, cool.
So now, full disclosure, all of these handles are real.
Okay.
Some of them are pretty good.
Nice.
And a lot of the questions, there was some that we got a lot of. So I'll tell you the ones that people really want to know. So first off, Samantha wanted to know, being on the road can be lonely at times, as I can imagine. How much of an impact has technology had on making tour life happy and more fulfilling, and staying in the loop with your family at home, not feeling like you're just off, in the wilderness?
Huge impact. To give you an idea, when we first started touring and stuff, I'd go to Europe, and there'd be like no way to contact me, like unless I called home on like the phone in the production office.
Yeah.
And I remember even trying to get like the first, like, you have to like rent a cell phone in Europe and have this, prepaid card, and it costs like $1 million. It was so difficult. And now, I mean, technology between Skype and texting and international phone service, data plans, all being so cheap. Yeah, it's completely changed everything. It's very, very helpful, Samantha.
That's great. Life's on Rule 65 wants to know, when will we get another JP solo album? We got this a lot. Got asked a lot.
Yeah, it's something that I'm just like almost embarrassed about, because my first one and only one was released in 2005.
Yeah.
And I do, as people may know from watching the G3 tours, that I do have plenty of material for that. So next time I can sit down and get into a studio, and I'm not making a Dream Theater record or touring with Dream Theater, I will record music for I guess a follow-up, if you want to call it, solo album.
There you go.
Yeah.
This one was one of my favorites. Pork Thruster wants to know, I know. What do you think about doing a Liquid Tension Experiment reunion with the original members? This was also a very popular question.
Right. Yeah, I know that's something that people are curious about and would really enjoy. And, I'm definitely open to it. It's not something that we really have been talking about too much, only because we're so busy and we have a tour coming up. But yeah, I mean, we're all friends, we're all in touch, we're all open to that. So I'm sure that's something that everybody would love to do at some point.
Well, that makes me happy to hear that.
Yeah, those records were a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, great.
Sure.
I actually was lucky enough to the night you guys did 2 shows at BB King's up in New York.
Nice. Yeah.
I was at both of those. It was crazy.
And the funny thing about both those records is that they were done really quickly.
Yeah.
Those were recorded within really, really quickly.
Like
anyway.
the Dewey Cox method of recording it, and
just like get in there, write it, record. Okay, bye.
That's great. Hugh wants to know, and this is actually something I was curious about too. So, deep into the John Petrucci lore, regarding the music you wrote for Digital Pinball Necromonicon for Sega Saturn. Yeah.
Okay.
How did you get that opportunity? Do you have the game, and did you ever play it?
Okay, I that was like on a Sega Saturn system.
That's
right. I have a copy of the game somewhere. I never played it, and it came to, I forget how it came to me, somehow through management, or the opportunity came in, and I remember doing it. It's like, we need it was very specific writing. They wanted like a 1 minute and 30 second you know. Uh-oh, sorry about that. Song for an intro and a 2.5-minute song for this, and it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, the tracks they're really good.
Thank you.
I was just listening to them. I really enjoy them. I'd love to hear you like redo those with real drums. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
The other most popular question: when are we getting an 8-string Petrucci? I mean, we want one. So
yes.
But everybody wants one.
Gotcha. Well, we did. I have been talking to Ernie Ball Music Man about that. We actually started to design one together. It was a Majesty version. It's not something that, we talked about doing it for the new record, having one for me to play on the new record. It's not something that we ended up doing. So hopefully it's something that we'll do. Ernie Ball Music Man doesn't make an 8-string. They don't have an 8-string in their lineup at all. So I think it would be great. And so we're continuing to talk about it. So I don't really have a definite answer on that.
But it's not a no.
It's definitely not a no. And it's definitely something that has been designed, or is it being designed. So it's just a matter of like sort of if and when, but it's definitely not a no.
That's good. And then I wanted to know, how do you deal with having a Patriots fan in the band now? That's got to be. That's got to be
not only
tough,
a
right?
Patriots fan, but like a everything and anything Boston fan. Forget about
it. Must be exhausting.
Yeah, Mike's a walking billboard for all Boston teams.
That's great. Well, John, thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. Again, Distance Over Time is out February 22nd. Really looking forward to getting my hands on that album, and it's going to be available everywhere music is sold. Get your tickets for the upcoming anniversary tour, Scenes from Memory, coming to a town near you. I already got mine. I will be there.
All right.
And I can't wait to see you guys. So, John, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Justin. Great talking to you. And again, congrats on everything you're doing. It's awesome. Man.